Welcome, welcome. A new episode here of The Gothic Heart. And I have an amazing guest today. This is Hannah from Marlin Fine Jewelry. And
Hello.
hi. And this is so exciting because while some of you may know, I am also a jeweler and sell jewelry. The reason Hannah is so fantastically perfect for this is the kind of jewelry she makes and the meaning that she infuses into her pieces, because we're all about stories, we're all about meaning and incorporating it into our daily lives, and also how you cannot compromise yourself, your beliefs, your style, and still make a living. And once I introduced you, or she introduces the kind of jewelry she makes and this amazing business that she's made in the industry that she's in, you will understand exactly what I'm talking about. Hey, it's Amity, welcoming you to the Gothic Heart, where we explore how to fully embrace your Gothic and alternative self in love, life, and everything in between. Whether you're navigating the dating scene, in a relationship, or celebrating your individuality solo, this is your spot for tips, inspiration, and my own journey from a courtroom attorney to a hollow wedding host. So grab your favorite drink and let's dive in. So I'm going to let Hannah give you a nice intro herself, and then we'll talk from there. Go for it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Amity, for having me on the podcast. This is very cool, and I'm very excited to share with you and with everybody listening and watching what I do. So I'm Hannah. I own and operate a little brand called Marlin Fine Jewelry. I am a start-to-finish custom bespoke memorial jeweler. So what that means is I work one-on-one with people experiencing the loss of a loved one, and we craft these highly personalized pieces to honor both their personal style and a loved one's memory that we're honoring into these pieces of fine jewelry that will last a lifetime. And the majority, if not nearly all of these pieces, have ashes incorporated into them. So usually what I like to do is do a surface inlay or by securing them under a bezel set stone. But no matter what, my style is very subtle, so it's not very flashy. When you look at a piece that we've created, it doesn't look like memorial jewelry right away. And I think for most of my clients, they like that subtlety. They like the little secret and the little reminder. And yeah, it's just been an absolutely wonderful niche that I found myself in, and I absolutely love what I do.
It's so amazing. I know for those of you listening won't be able to see any of her pieces, but of course we'll have links below. But pets, people, anything. And of course, each piece is completely different based on the person. And the designs that she's co-created with her clients are just incredible. And for those of you who may not know what memorial jewelry is, because I don't know that it's technically a thing. It's just a great way of explaining exactly what you do. Like, we know what bridal jewelry is, but memorial jewelry, she talked about how she uses ashes in the piece or mementos or about your loved one. So that is making a memorial to those pieces that you can wear every day or have with you at all times. And on the other side of that, there are other things you can find out there if you Google memorial jewelry. And I'm going to explain later, or maybe Hannah will, about why those are 100% different than what she's doing here. But first, let's even talk about how you even got into jewelry and how this became your passion for what you saw your clients needed.
Sure. I mean, if you want to go back all the way to the beginning, I'll give you a really quick kind of brief. So I was born and raised on Martha's Vineyard, which is an island off the coast of Cape Cod on the East Coast. And I was born into art. I was a performing artist for the majority of my childhood, teen years into college. But then once in college, I discovered I really loved the sculpture class that I had just kind of fallen into. It was a prereq because I ended up being a studio art major at the end of my career doing performing art. So I switched from performing to visual and then from photography to sculpture. And I just loved working with my hands. I knew from the second I created my first little, it was like a cardboard sculpture, that I wanted to do that forever. And what better way to do that than by making jewelry? I loved jewelry and it just seemed natural. So I graduated college, went back home, and started carving shell because I was surrounded by beach and there was something called wampum. Yeah, which I don't even think I told you about, but basically there is this really beautiful, naturally occurring purple coloring, striated coloring, so like striped purples of all different shades that naturally occurs in quahog shells, so clam shell. And where I'm from, the native people, the Wampanoags, would craft that wampum into beads and other jewelry, make them into bracelets and belts and ceremonial pieces. But I started just kind of carving them to see what I could make as someone who just really wanted to work with my hands. And I found that I could create these really intricately carved feathers. So I started carving these feathers and kind of just like sharing them online. And that garnered a lot of attention. Because of that, I was like, you know what? Let's try metalsmithing. Let's make some settings for these feathers. So I took a class at Metalworks, which is in Waltham, Massachusetts. I would drive an hour and a half plus a 45-minute boat ride there and back every Tuesday for, I think it was a 9-week class to learn how to metalsmith. And I just absolutely loved it. It really just took off from there. So with the shell and with the handmade settings, I started just plopping all my pieces into stores all over the island. And after a year or two, I had all my friends and all these people I didn't even know wearing my pieces. And I'm like, this is my life now. Like, this is what we have to do. But like, let's kick it up a notch. Let's do fine jewelry. So my now husband, and I, in 2019, my high school sweetheart, decided that no matter what, we were going to leave Martha's Vineyard by the end of 2019 so that I could learn how to make fine jewelry. And that discussion ended up with me finding out about the GIA, the Gemological Institute of America, which is in Carlsbad, California, so San Diego County. And I was like, let's go. So we packed up everything we owned in my 2013 Kia Soul and my little dog Maple, and we drove 67 hours out to Carlsbad. And we've never looked back, but through a lot of trial and tribulation and a lot of bench work and a lot of, tears, pandemic, this, that, and the other.
Oh.
It was tough. Obviously, for everybody, I had a friend reach out asking if I could make a memorial piece. And we did it. I made her this piece because she was looking for something a little more personalized than what she was finding online. And I made this piece and she loved it. And when she came to me with the reaction of, how the piece made her feel and how it helped her, even in some slight way with the grief of losing her father. I mean, that was the catalyst really for me to really explore that.
That story, I didn't even know pieces of that story. That is amazing. And what I want to know is, can we see these feathers that you were carving?
So, yeah, I mean, wow, they were on my Instagram a long time ago. And once my style really changed, I realized they didn't really fit in my feed anymore.
That
right?
Does make
so
sense.
I had to archive a lot of those early pieces. But
I'm going to hunt down the picture for
I will
our
absolutely
listeners.
send you. Yeah, I would love to show you and share.
That's
there
so
are still
cool.
some pieces archived in my Etsy page because I sold on Etsy for years and years. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, that's all but completely vanished from my offerings now. But it's so important to my story and my roots that it's definitely something I like to talk about when I get the chance.
Basically, everything I heard in your story, every single way was all passion, passion, passion. The lengths you went to make what you felt needed to happen, that passion. I mean, that's why you fell into what you did and how you've made such an amazing business out of it is that passion. And so for listeners, or just for me even, I mean, we've talked about it, but I would love for you to go through what that process looks like. So if someone contacts you, you're available. Well, side note, there's a wait list because she's got so many people, but
the wait list.
Contact you, you're available. What happens next?
So I'm going through a big kind of transitional time in my business where I'm trying to get more pieces out to more people with that same heart, that same passion, and that same personal touch. So right now things are changing a bit, but as of right now, the way it works is when you do join my waitlist and it becomes time to work with me, I will send you a questionnaire, and that questionnaire is both asking for personal details, style preferences, and the story about your loved one, but then also design details. So what would you like this piece to be? What is your dream piece? Is it a necklace? Is it a ring? Is it earrings? Is it a bracelet? I can make anything. I've actually made coins too, commemorative coins before. So
Oh,
I'm
cool.
open to a lot of things, right? Because my biggest takeaway is that you get exactly what you are looking for, that honors both you and the loved one exactly the way you want. So anything really is possible. From then, we have a little consultation where I really like to get to know my client, right? This is a very, very personal journey that we're taking together. I don't take that lightly. So I would love to know more about the client and obviously more about that loved one. And then we talk about design. And then from there, after we're done with our consultation, I'll do a little sketch for you and we'll discuss, what do you like about this piece? What would you change if you'd like revision? And we just work together. We collaborate to really get that piece up to exactly what you want. And from there, I send over a little cremains collection kit. It's very easy. All the instructions are in there. It's prepaid label to you just stick it in because for a lot of people, that's the hardest part of the entire process. And I don't require anything to be done really quickly, right? I go at your pace. So if you need more time than what I would say is like standard, just pop it in the mail, that's fine, right? Like we're there together to work through not only creating this piece, but also, being emotionally sensitive to what we're doing. But get those asses over to me. I have them very safely secured here in my studio with me until it's time to move that loved one into their new shiny home, as I like to say to people, whether that is the ring, the necklace, the bracelet, any of that. I do all the crafting here at my bench, as you can see. The one thing I don't do is my own casting, but then everything else is done by my hands. And then at which point the piece is finished, I send it back to you, and any leftover cremains are also shipped back with the piece. So everything that you send me goes back to you. And that's it. And then you have your piece.
You can tell that this has been a honed process over many clients because
Yeah.
you know like exactly how to make it easier and how to respect any of their needs. And it really sounds like a true collaboration, which
Yeah.
I mean, with anything is important, but even more so with something of this nature.
It is. It really is a true collaboration to the very core.
So this is just a side question, but do you do any customs that are not memorial jewelry anymore?
I do. I still do basically anything. I have a little bit of ADHD when it comes to my business, my process, my art. As you can imagine, doing memorial work all day, every day can be very taxing emotionally. And I do make an effort to take care of myself, listen to my own heart and emotions when it comes to this work. And I will take on some other maybe like everyday pieces or even bridal. I do actually quite a lot of bridal. And that keeps me very balanced within my own psyche and within my own hand.
That's a really good point. At this point, every time I'm talking to you and thinking about it, I've been very focused on the client. But that is an excellent point on maintaining your balance and taking care of you while you're taking care of the clients all these times.
Yeah.
So that is an excellent, excellent point. I'm just going to take a quick moment right here just for the listeners. So we're always talking on the Gothic Heart about staying true to yourself and how to be yourself or incorporate your style or your personality in things that you do with family, life, school, work, etc. And so I would love featuring jobs in that alternative sector. I mean, everybody knows you can work in jewelry or at a jewelry store, right? That you may be like, that's not my thing, or that doesn't fit my alternative personality. But then look, you can infuse your personality into your brand. You can infuse your passion into your brand and come up with something here exactly like what Hannah does, which is why she is perfect for the Gothic Heart. Why I wanted to show you, you can turn anything into yours with your brand and your personality. And I warned her I was going to bring up this quote because if you guys go on her website or anything, one of the things that made me fall in love with her brand and her process and everything she's doing is this quote, because I feel like it speaks to sometimes how we talk about the way outside people perceive us, or people without our style and our things and what they might say, and how to, ignore that or still be ourselves, or how to work through that. And it just hits the nail on the head perfectly. So I'm going to read the quote, and then I'm going to let Hannah explain and kind of why that came up, or why that quote, or why she even puts it on her website. So it says, though memorial work is inherently morbid and at times very heavy, it's important to let you all know that the person behind it is full of life. Let that soak in for a second. And so, Hannah, do you have any stories or things that may have come from people outside your industry or may not understand your work that maybe led to you having to speak up in that way and explain yourself and your business?
Sure. So one of the reasons I got into this memorial work is because what I saw, and a lot of my potential clients saw when they, Googled memorial jewelry, was very, very cold and impersonal, right? A lot of these pieces, they look like, if you've ever seen a pillar, like a metal pillar where you can put ashes inside, and then it's just like a, little inscribed date or name, and you like picked your color and you picked your font. And that's all you get. And then you get this piece, which, I have no hate towards the people who enjoy that and that's good for them and that works for them. To me, it just felt very impersonal. And the people that were honoring the pets, the animals, the people were honoring, they all had lives, right? And so for some reason, putting a person in a metal rectangle and calling it a day, that's not, to me, a good memorial. It doesn't honor them, I think, the way most people would want to be honored, right? The life is what we're trying to capture within these pieces. And the people collaborating on this piece, we're both very much alive, right? I want this process to be one of happiness, joy, remembrance of, when this loved one was alive, the feelings you felt when they were still physically present, which were all, for the most part, incredibly positive, right? So I started doing memorial jewelry because I saw the need. I felt very deeply personally about it because when I was crafting this piece for my friend, my grandma also passed away. And so I was there with this client when they were experiencing grief. I was experiencing grief, and I got it. I was like, you know what? Let's do this. You're right. We need to make something better. And so the life factor of what I do is so important to be able to do desk work.
That is the perfect way of putting it. So I just love the way that you stated that. And so something we talk about a lot on Gothic Heart, so you're not going to escape it, is with all of this meaning and joy that you're giving to your clients and life that you're celebrating out here, there's always going to be, when it's something outside of the ordinary, there's going to be hate and stereotypes and judgments and all of those things. So do you have any examples of what that happened? And then how did you work through it?
What's so funny is I was expecting to get a lot of haters, right? Because ashes and memorial and all of the things that have to do with death, people don't want to necessarily they don't want to face it, right? And it seems, like you said, very out of the box, a little just like uncouth. And I surprisingly don't get a lot of it. And when I do, it's usually a comment on a reel or a post that I make about the story I tell in the piece that I show. I have an army of followers. I have people, I have past clients and just people who've been following me for a long time who really feel like and do know me and know why I do this work, and that I have, like a real reason for why I do it. And they're usually the ones that go after them for me. I never have to say anything. I get people that are like, you don't know what you're talking about. Him is doing blah, 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 right? And it's been great. It's been great. This doesn't happen that often. So I've been very fortunate. I think the way I share the stories keep people from doing the mean hate things on Instagram and TikTok.
Well, that's amazing. So amazing.
It's very surprising.
Yeah. I mean, fantastic. But second of all, brings to another thing we talk about a lot, which is your community, finding your people, the people who have like-mindeds and understand you. And you have an army of community right there, ready, willing, in love with your work and your business and everything that you do, and not willing to stand for anyone who doesn't get it. So that's amazing that you've got that community piece. That's the way to get through anything. I love that. I love that.
I'm very fortunate, and it's all been very organic too. These people have seen my work; it resonates with them, and they want a piece of that loved one. So they get it. And I don't have to do anything. It's great.
Well, I mean, you do have quite a successful business. So we know you do something, but no, I love how that all happened organically. And I think that's the best way for it to happen. The people, you put yourself out there and the people find you, and it just grows and becomes the community. So
they know what I'm about. They know what I'm about, and they know my why.
Yep. The why. It's so important. And that's probably why, I mean, that could be a big reason on how you presented it and explained it. A good reason why there aren't people making those judgments. So I think that's a good testament to how you've been, explaining and running your business and how you've been putting it out there. So that's incredible.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I want to hear, if you're willing or if it's okay, I want to hear some stories of pieces that you've made and what was behind them and how they came about.
All right. Well, it's hard to talk about a lot of them, as you can imagine, because I do hear a lot about death. I do often,
That's a good point.
When I do have these consultations, I like to let my clients know up front what I can do for them and what I am happy to do for them versus what I cannot provide for them, right? So I start my meeting by saying, I'm Hannah, I'm a jewelry designer. I'm making these pieces for you because I love what I do and I want to help you and I want to make art. And this is a perfect, baby of all of those things. So I let them know that. And then I also say, however, I am not a grief counselor. I have no formal grief training. I'm not a therapist, but I'm an empath. So I will sit here and I will listen to you intently. Whatever you want to share with me, I'm here. I will listen. I cannot, however, provide advice. And I do at some time need to draw boundaries with some people just because I can't carry your grief. I'm here to provide you a tool, right? So there are a lot of times where I do hear some quite horrible, traumatic, stories of loss. And those are, some of the reasons that I've now gone back to therapy to deal with some of that, holding space for these people, right? Because like we said, self-preservation is really important. Self-care is really important, especially in a line of work that is inherently morbid, right? So I have to work on my own self-preservation while also helping people get through their grief. So, as much as I would love to talk about some of these pieces, and I'm so happy to tell you about the design choices and why we made them. I can't go into very much detail, but let's see. Do you want to talk about one specific piece from my Instagram? I can pull one up and we can chat.
Well, so I know one that really puts you on the map. But so we can talk about that one if you want, but I am in love with one of the ones that was recently on your Instagram. Sort of the larger piece with the word in the middle. Yes, I just love that one. Like how, and again, it could be how the design came about, etc. It doesn't have to be the the details of.
No, this is a perfect one to talk about. Actually, this is perfect. So, the piece you're referring to is one of my most proud work to this day. It was a massive platinum piece that had ashes, meteorite, obsidian, and jet. And I'll go into how I use those in a second. It also had several specialty cut aquamarines and some diamonds as well. So this piece was for my client Heather in honor of her cat named Carter. And Carter was with her for many, many years. I think upwards of 20 or so years. So this cat was her soul cat, right? I have a cat. My cat is my full cat. I get the passion and the love, right? I think a lot of people who've never had pets, it's hard for them to understand just how important those pets are in their lives. But, this is one of the reasons I think I'm good at what I do, because I get it, right? I have my dog sitting underneath my desk right now. And my cat's usually in her little window perch, but she's very distracting. So I kicked her out today, but I get it. So when she came to me with this massive budget for the cat who had a massive impact, I said, let's make a massively beautiful ring. And so together we came up with this Art Deco inspired piece. So yeah, big piece, big on the finger, platinum, all platinum. But basically the idea of it was, it is a cut corner rectangle, so the shape of the face mimics kind of like an emerald cut stone. And then in the center of it is a star. So it's a North Star. A lot of my work has star or constellation imagery and symbolism, because, we return to the stars. Is what I like to think. I
love it.
So, and she really resonated with that imagery. So that centers have had to be a North Star. Within that North Star is a salt and pepper diamond, this perfect round. I love it. I know I love it so much. But surrounding that star, we inlaid a pool of Carter's ashes that were mixed with meteorite, crushed jet, and crushed obsidian. So.
How did you choose those to mix with it?
So for a lot of my work, when it comes to ashes and inlaying the ashes, a lot of people like to have a subtle sparkle, right? It's not very glitzy. Yes. It's not super, like in your face. It's just a little bit of sheen and sparkle when you move your hand or move your necklace. And the best way I have found to do that for my own personal work is by incorporating other crushed stone that either contrast the ashes or, adds to it and complements it. So jet is a really beautiful, very black stone. It's very sparkly, and obsidian is volcanic glass. So that's also very sparkly and has like a grayish black coloring to it. So when you mix ashes that also come in a variety of colors, which is something that most people don't assume. They range from very, very light gray to very, very dark gray and black at times, depending on the way they were cremated or aquamated, which is a whole other thing that I also have seen a lot of. But we like to complement that with a little sparkle. So I mix the ashes with those crushed stones. We get a little sparkle, and then the meteorite. It just made sense when it came to the cosmos theme of the ring, right? Of course, a piece of the cosmos in that ring. It needed to be there. So I layered that in because meteorite is mostly iron, so iron tends to rust. So we made sure it didn't touch the top of the ring. It's all very, very secured underneath. And then surrounding that pool is just a selection of custom cut aquamarine baguettes and princess cut. And then in each corner were 4 more salt and pepper diamond, but the aquamarine is the March birthstone, and that was the birth month of both Heather and Carter. So that was something that she really wanted incorporated as a piece. And then those salt and pepper diamond really just with the star theme, with the cosmos of the meteorite, it just all went together so beautifully. And she absolutely loves it. I absolutely love it. And yeah, it's one of my big conversation pieces to this day.
Oh, it's so, so gorgeous. For those of you listening, we'll definitely provide links so you can see it. But just every single piece of that story, of what you put into that piece, had meaning, had story. Not any of it was just done because that's what you do, right? Every single piece of it had story and had meaning. And that's so special.
Additionally, there's actually a secret inscription on the inside as well. So when she's the only one that knows what it says, and when she wears it, she resonates with it. And that's also something I like to do a lot. Underside of ring, like a secret message or, an additional secret inlay is also something that my clients and I kind of share, that little secret hidden message, which I think is very important to them. Yeah.
I've done that on a few rings myself, of hidden the snowflake, or my favorite one, just in general in this theme, was that someone wanted a mother's ring with these, so the birthstones of their children, and we were trying out different designs, and she kept not liking things. And so finally I was like, I don't think you actually like color. You only wear black. All of your jewelry here is either silver or black. Like, I think you don't like color. And she's like, you know what? I don't like color. So we made like this great like bubble pave with all diamonds, and then we inlaid on the inner side of the shank of the band the 3 tiny gemstones, so it wouldn't be seen when she did it, but she still knew it was there, right? The hidden beating. So
I love that. Yeah,
the hidden things.
Perfect. Yeah, and you know what? Not all birthstones look good together.
That's true.
So that was, I think that was very creative.
So there's ways
I'd love to see that ring
around it. Oh yeah, we'll link that too. We'll link it too in the social media. So I mean, I love what you're doing. I love the way you've talked about it. One thing I just want to really hone in on, I know we're not an entrepreneur podcast or anything, but a lot of this is about how to put yourself in your work and how to still be yourself. So what you were talking about how work can really take some of that out of you, especially with what you did and how you're prioritizing self-care. I can tell you as an entrepreneur, man, sometimes I never know when to stop, and I don't even know the balance or the line. So can you share with us some advice or how you came to that, or what works best? Any tips?
Ooh, I will let you know when I do it. I'm still working on that as well. One of my biggest challenges right now is that I'm still mostly a one-woman show. I have a manufacturing partner that helped me with a couple pieces here and there, mostly the bridal work that I do on the side. But right now I'm still doing 99% of the work myself. And when it comes to owning a business, especially if you were not bred to be a business owner, I came into this as an artist first, business owner second, or even third or fourth, to be honest. There's a lot to be learned, right? And I have said this time and time again, the only way I learn and grow is by making mistakes, because you'll never forget what happened when you made that mistake, right? So I keep making mistakes, and they're not detrimental, right? They're not big mistakes by any means at all, but you can't learn and grow unless you mess up a little bit. And the mess ups have gotten me farther and farther every day, every week, every month. And here I am 2 years in, with a wait list of several thousand people. I didn't get there by accident, right? So
a lot of hard work,
and a lot of mistakes. So I am still slowly figuring out ways to make this business better, make my art better, serve more people, while keeping that personalized touch that people really come to me for. So yeah, it's a work in progress. It's a work in progress is my best answer for you. Yeah.
I'm going to play all of what you just said for my kids, because I cannot get them to understand that mistakes are important.
Extremely important. If I hadn't made this, that mistake, I would not be here. I would not be here. So
Important thing is what you do with the mistake.
Yeah, exactly. And one other thing I like to tell people, especially in the jewelry industry or any art, right? Any artists that are trying to make a career, you have to believe that you will make it. Because one of the reasons I got to where I am today was out of complete necessity, right? So during the pandemic, when I had been in school shut down and I had no job. I was used to working 2 to 3 full-time jobs at a time when I still lived on the East Coast. I came out here with no job, full-time student. And then when the pandemic hit and school closed down, I got sent, to sit on my couch for 6 months. I couldn't get a job. I got like part-time gig work, but nothing that was going to support me and, support my husband and I together. And so I had to make it work. I had to do it. And the self-doubt that I felt was just unbearable, right? I have never been the most confident person. I didn't go into this thinking, I'm going to be great. I didn't. But I had to believe that I was going to figure it out, or else I would have to move back to Marlin Vineyard, which I really didn't want to do.
Yeah.
So when it comes to, advice for other jewelers, other artists, just believe yourself, believe in yourself. You've got to come out of it. It's out of necessity, right? And if you believe that you're going to do it, you will. It's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of tears. I can't tell you how many tears I have cried.
Me too.
It's hard. It's hard work, but you've got to believe in yourself.
That mindset shift, what you're talking about, that mindset, that's key.
It's everything.
No one can make it as an entrepreneur without that.
It's everything. So yeah, you just gotta do it. And as proud as I am of where I am now, I know that there's more growth on the way. And I have not lost that drive to continue growing and building on what I have. I'm still in that mindset of you're doing it and you got to keep going. Well, yeah.
Yes,
it's a nonstop journey. It's never stop learning, never stop believing in yourself, never stop growing.
So, that's almost the perfect way to wrap up this podcast. Actually, it is. I just want to talk about one more thing, things that you've kind of been alluding to is sort of the future of your brand. You've talked about your wait list. You've got over thousands of people on your wait list. I'm like, I can't even say the word. Thousands of people on your wait list. And, you've been talking about how you're looking to, get some help so you can help more clients, et cetera, which is amazing, and how you haven't lost your drive, which is so good, because sometimes I've seen it. People have this goal, when they meet it, they're like, okay. So important that you still have this drive to help people and to pursue this and provide what you can for all of us experience loss.
Yeah.
So, you've alluded to it a little bit, but, or if we need to get on your mailing list, or what kind of things might we be seeing in the next year or so?
Yeah, so I will clarify that, and I know I said this earlier. I have thousands of people waiting to be on that wait list.
Gotcha.
I only take 20 clients at a time. But I was the one that made that mistake.
But that's the same thing. They're ready, yeah.
They're ready, but I'm not. So that's why we are in this tremendous growth period. Burnout is very real when it comes to business that's art-based, and business that is solopreneur, which is what I am right now. I'm an artist solopreneur, and I want to keep myself from burning out, because I want to be able to create these pieces for people forever. And so right now I'm putting pieces in place to outsource a little bit. I want to create a line of personalized, customizable memorial pieces that are very much my style, and that keeps that subtlety within the design, that are going to be a lot more easily attainable for people at a lower price point as well, so that I can, bring to as many clients as possible, while also being able to focus more on the bespoke work that people still really want from me. So yeah, we're going to be doing some customizable work in the future. I also would love to just offer some everyday stacking pieces, right? I love memorial work. It is definitely my focus, but I want people to know that I am multifaceted, no pun intended, but I want people to see that there are more things that I can offer them. And by getting some help, maybe moving into a bigger studio space, hiring people, I'll have time for that too, to really launch this full collection of pieces, memorial stacking, and then, you know, maybe one day I'll make my foray into full bridal work. But you know, as of right now, my focus is very much on memorial and just getting these people peace within something beautiful. So it's on the horizon.
That's perfect. It means that all these people that are waiting for your work, because we've discussed what's out there and it's, you know, not even close to comfortable. So that means that all these people like will have more availability or just ability to be able to get your pieces and do those things. So they won't have to wait
months and months and months to work with me. Yeah, that's the hope.
That's so good. And it's so exciting for your followers and people on the wait list to know that, like, hey, you're thinking about them, you know your wait list is long and that you're coming up with good solutions for them. So
it is very exciting. And my following does, you know, anticipate that from me, and they're holding me accountable as much as I'm holding myself accountable. They more so actually are holding me accountable because they're the reason I'm doing it. So yeah, if you want to follow along, my Instagram is Marlin Fine Jewelry, and my website is itsmarlin.com. If you go there, you can join my mailing list, and you'll get updates on everything there is to know about Marlin, whether that be a bespoke waitlist opening or any new offerings I'll have in the future. That's where you can find me. TikTok
and I will link I will link everything below so nobody misses anything for sure, and see this amazing work that you do. And as a just brief side mention, if you are looking into memorial jewelry and you find other options, like things that can be done with ashes or grown, I personally implore you to do your research on it before making any sort of commitment, to just research and see if that's exactly the route that you want to go, and that it includes the meaning and everything that we've discussed here today, with Hannah. And because, you know, not everybody is as, I mean, in any business, not every business is as honest and straightforward as you can get here from Hannah or from generally solopreneurs and stuff. So we want everybody to be able to get exactly what it is that they're looking for.
Absolutely. Thank you for saying that. It is very important, right? Because if you want to honor your loved ones, I would hope that whoever you're getting this jewelry from feels the same way and wants that piece to last forever. And not a lot of the memorial jewelry out there will last forever. So keep that in mind too when you're out there searching. And I'm happy to answer any questions about that specifically. Well, for any of those out there that are curious what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Hannah, for joining us. And everybody, everything's linked below. Follow, like, subscribe, share this, please. The more followers, the better for anyone. Like you see, it doesn't have to be Gothic. It's alternative, anything outside the norm, and how we can make this work. I'm really excited about a guest we have coming up too, another alternative thing you wouldn't expect. So really fun. And last but not least, if you're a jeweler out there looking for work, I mean, it sounds like Hannah needs some help. So
yeah, please apply within. I would love that.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you. And we'll see you all next time.
Thank you, Emily.